So I wanted to make a quick video talking about the differences and the pros and cons between cast iron and my favorite, which is carbon steel. I feel that a lot of people know about cast iron. It's had its 15 minutes of fame. They know that it's great for retaining heat. You can use it to sear. You can throw it in the oven from the stove. It's really all around a very resilient piece of cookware. But my favorite, carbon steel, has not really had that same bit of notoriety. I think that recently it's been getting a lot of press, for lack of a better term, but still a lot of people don't know about it. So let's talk about it. Cast iron and carbon steel are pretty much, for all intents and purposes, the same material. Cast iron has a little bit more carbon in it, ironically enough, than carbon steel, which means that you have to actually pour this to make it, whereas with this you have sheets of it and you bend it into shape. In terms of how they work thermodynamically, again, for all intents and purposes, they're the same material. They both heat up very slowly, but once they grab the heat, they hold on to the heat like nothing else. So they're both great for searing, they're both great for low and slow cooking, they're both extremely resilient. At the same time, as you can see by their colors, these are both used. They're both in need of seasoning because iron rusts. So they both get seasoning. One thing you're going to notice is because of the way they're made, sand molds versus essentially forging, the interior of the skillet is much smoother than the interior of the cast iron skillet. What that means is, and I've mentioned this before, this is extremely non-stick. I use it all the time for eggs sunny side up, for scrambled eggs, for delicate fish, for things that a normal cast iron pan and even a non-stick skillet would grab onto and tear apart. So it's phenomenal. At the same time, this, even though it's bigger, weighs a little bit less than this, even though it's smaller. That's because of how this is made. It's forged, it's not cast. So it's much more versatile, it's much easier to use, it's much more resilient. You can do a lot more things with it. Plus, it's crazy non-stick. I feel like unless you really need a cast iron skillet for that specific purpose, let's say you're making cornbread, let's say you're making something like that, or you're really searing a steak where you need that extra couple millimeters of just heat retaining capacity, which this thing does just as well, frankly, I would almost always, 99.9% of the time, grab my carbon steel skillet instead of my cast iron skillet, regardless of the size. I have 8 inches, I have this one which is about 10 inches, I have a 12-inch one, lots of different sizes of both. But like I said, almost always a carbon steel skillet, in my opinion, is going to be the preferred method if you're using one of these two materials. I'll put a link down below to both of these, but like I said, this is my favorite. If you have any questions, let me know. Comments, let me know. But otherwise, I'll talk to you soon.